When people talk about executions, the focus is often on the last meal, what the condemned would choose to eat before facing their fate. But what about the execution method itself? Throughout history, civilizations have devised some of the most brutal, bizarre, and downright terrifying ways to carry out death sentences. From ritualistic cliff drops to mechanized strangulation, here are some of the craziest execution methods from around the world, ranked from shocking to utterly horrifying. Italy. Falling. Pre-Roman Sardinia and Imperial Rome. Execution by falling is one of the oldest and simplest methods, but the reasons behind it in ancient Italy were anything but ordinary. In pre-Roman Sardinia, elderly members of the community who could no longer care for themselves were given a neurotoxic drink made from the sardonic herb, which induced a euphoric, intoxicated state. Once sedated, they were carried to a cliff and thrown off, either to their immediate death or finished off with a beating beforehand. Centuries later, the Romans put their own twisted spin on it. Emperor Tiberius, notorious for his cruelty, would have young boys, whom he had exploited, thrown off cliffs into the sea. To ensure no survivors, boats waited below to crush them with oars if they survived the fall. United States, the upright jerker, 19th-20th century. Hanging was America's go-to execution method, but botched drop hangings, where victims slowly strangled instead of a quick neck snap, led to a more humane alternative, the upright jerker. Instead of dropping the condemned through a trapdoor, they stood on the ground while a noose around their neck was attached to a pulley system. When activated, weights yanked them upward, breaking their neck instantly, or so it was supposed to work. The violent jerking motion as the body bounced gave this method its grim name. Sri Lanka and India. Crushing by elephant, ancient to 19th century. For over 3,000 years, execution by elephant was a favored method in South and Southeast Asia. The condemned would be restrained on the ground, while an elephant, trained for this purpose, crushed their skull or torso with its foot. Some elephants were even taught to dismember prisoners limb by limb. In other cases, the elephant would fling the victim into the air with its trunk before finishing the job. This method was reserved for serious crimes like treason or theft, and it wasn't fully abolished until the late 1800s. China. Execution vans, 2003 to present. China leads the world in executions, and efficiency is key. Enter the execution van, a mobile death chamber disguised as an ordinary bus. Inside, prisoners are strapped to a gurney, injected with lethal drugs, and driven to the morgue. These vans allow China to execute thousands annually, without the publicity of traditional execution grounds. Spain. The garrote, 1800s to 1978. The garrote was Spain's